Have you ever noticed that the moment you decide to let go, to stop chasing, is the very moment they start craving your presence? It's as if your decision to step back, to focus on your own growth, triggers something deep within them, a realization of what they've lost. Suddenly, the person who once overlooked you now finds themselves unable to imagine life without you. This is the power of reclaiming your strength, the undeniable impact of choosing yourself first. When you stop pouring your energy into someone who doesn't see your worth, something remarkable happens. They begin to feel the void your absence creates. And it's in this empty space that they are forced to confront the reality of how much they took you for granted. The tables turn, and the dynamics shift. Now they are the ones left longing, obsessing, and chasing after you. But make no mistake, this isn't some random twist of fate. It's a natural consequence of valuing yourself, of stepping back and allowing them to feel the weight of your absence. The more you focus inward, the more magnetic you become. Your silence, your newfound independence, becomes something they can't ignore. And the deeper they fall into regret, the more they realize what they've lost. If you're ready to tap into this power, to understand why they only want you when you no longer want them, then stay with us. We're about to explore 9 profound truths that reveal the underlying forces at play. This isn't just about flipping the script, it's about taking control of your life and your relationships. Before we dive in, I want to challenge you. If you're ready to become someone who naturally commands attention, leave a comment below with the words, "I deserve better." This isn't just a phrase, it's a declaration, a commitment to embodying these Stoic principles and becoming the person who leaves a lasting impression. Your journey to understanding your true value starts now. So watch until the end, subscribe to the channel, and share your experiences with these principles in your own life. Let's uncover the secrets that will empower you to live with purpose and confidence, making them realize they need you, even when you've already moved on. Number 1. Power of absence. Have you ever pondered the true weight of your presence in someone's life? It's not until you remove yourself from the equation that its full significance is felt. As the ancient philosopher Heraclitus once said, "You cannot step into the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and you are not the same person." This speaks to the power of absence, how stepping away can change the dynamics of a relationship in ways that presence alone never could. When you're always available, constantly reaching out, offering support, making plans, people start to assume that your presence is a given, a constant in their lives. They begin to overlook the value you bring, much like the air we breathe, vital yet unnoticed until it's no longer there. But the moment you decide to step back, to reclaim your time and energy for yourself, something profound happens. Imagine this. You've been the dependable friend, always ready to drop everything at a moment's notice. Your availability is their comfort, their safety net. But one day you decide it's time to focus on your own growth, pursue your own passions, and you stop being that ever-present figure. Suddenly, calls go unanswered, texts unreturned, and they're left to wonder, what changed? This is where the power of absence reveals its strength. Your decision to step away leaves a void, a space where your presence used to be. And nature abhors a vacuum. That emptiness doesn't just sit idly, forces them to confront the reality of your absence, making them realize what they took for granted. In this silence, they begin to see your true worth, not just as someone who was always there, but as someone whose absence leaves a tangible gap in their lives. It's like the favorite chair in a room that goes unnoticed until it's removed. Suddenly, the room feels incomplete, awkward, and uncomfortable without it. That's the impact of your absence. What was once overlooked now becomes essential, irreplaceable. And as Seneca wisely observed, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. In the void you leave behind, their minds race, filling the empty space with thoughts of what you might be doing, who you might be with, and why they never appreciated you when they had the chance. But let's not misunderstand the purpose here. This isn't about manipulating emotions or playing games. It's about understanding and asserting your own value. When you step back, you're not just creating a sense of longing in others, you're reinforcing your own sense of self-worth. You're sending a clear message. You deserve to be valued, not as an option, but as a priority. Think about this in practical terms. When you withdraw, you give them the opportunity to miss you, to reconsider the role you play in their life. You force them to see the imbalance in the relationship, to recognize that your presence was never guaranteed, but rather a gift. And if they don't come to this realization, they don't value you in your absence, then it's their loss, not yours. So take this lesson to heart. The power of absence is not just a tactic, it's a principle of self-respect. By stepping back, you're allowing yourself the space to grow, to pursue your own happiness, while simultaneously giving others the chance to understand your worth. Remember, you're not just stepping away, you're stepping into your own power. And in doing so, you'll find that those who truly value you will be drawn back, not by your presence, but by the strength of your absence. As you continue this journey, keep in mind that your worth doesn't diminish because someone fails to see it. It's their blindness, not your value, that's in question. So, go forth with confidence, embrace the silence, and let your absence speak louder than any words could. After all, it's in the spaces we leave behind that others finally see the true outline of our worth. Number 2. The shift in dynamics. The power of absence naturally leads to a shift in dynamics, fundamental change in how relationships function. When you withdraw your constant presence, something interesting happens. The balance of power begins to tip. As the great philosopher Aristotle once noted, nature abhors a vacuum. When you create space by stepping back, forces those around you to fill that void, often in ways they hadn't anticipated. You see, relationships are like a delicate dance. When you've been the one always leading, always making the first move, the rhythm becomes predictable, even comfortable. But what happens when you stop leading? What happens when you let go of that control? When you decide that your energy is better spent on your own growth and well-being? That's when the real transformation begins. Imagine this scenario. You've been the driving force behind every interaction, every plan, every effort to keep the connection alive. It's exhausting, and over time, it can make you feel like you're carrying the weight of the relationship alone. But then one day, you decide to stop. Not out of spite, but out of a recognition that your worth is not tied to how much you give to others, but to how much you respect and nurture yourself. This decision to step back, to stop chasing, is like setting down that heavy load. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts. The other person, who has become accustomed to your efforts, now finds themselves off balance, unsure of how to proceed. They begin to wonder, why aren't they chasing me anymore? What changed? It's in this moment of uncertainty that the tables turn. Just like a seesaw that tips when one side gains too much weight, your decision to focus on yourself forces them to reconsider their position. They start to see you in a new light, no longer as the one who is always there, but as someone who is now elusive, independent, and perhaps even a bit mysterious. This shift in perception is powerful because it disrupts the established pattern, creating a sense of intrigue and attraction. But here's the critical lesson from Stoicism. This shift isn't about manipulating others. It's about realigning your life so that your happiness and growth are no longer dependent on anyone else's validation. As Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few want. By wanting less from others and focusing more on your own journey, you naturally become more self-sufficient, more content, and ultimately more attractive. So what's the practical takeaway here? Recognize when you've been doing all the heavy lifting in a relationship, and don't be afraid to let go. Let the other person step up or not. If they truly value you, they'll rise to the occasion. If not, you've just freed yourself from an unbalanced relationship, making room for healthier, more reciprocal connection. Think of it like a chess game. Sometimes the most strategic move is not to advance, but to pause, to let the opponent make the next move. By stepping back, you allow the dynamics to shift naturally, revealing who is truly invested in the relationship and who is simply along for the ride. In the end, this shift in dynamics is about reclaiming your power, about realizing that you don't need to chase after anyone to prove your worth. Instead, by focusing on yourself, you create an environment where the right people, those who genuinely value and respect you, will be drawn to you, and those who don't, they'll fall away. leaving you with the space to grow into the person you're meant to be. As you continue to embrace this mindset, remember that every relationship is a reflection of the balance of power within it. By maintaining your own sense of self-worth, you ensure that this balance remains in your favor, allowing you to engage with others from a place of strength and authenticity. So go ahead, shift the dynamics, and watch as your life begins to change in ways you never imagined. Number 3. The allure of independence. Independence is the ultimate act of self-respect. When you choose to stand on your own, to prioritize your growth and well-being, you send a clear message to the world. You are complete as you are. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, "Nothing can bring you peace but yourself." This peace, this self-sufficiency, is the foundation upon which true independence is built, and it's what makes you undeniably attractive. In the Stoic tradition, we are reminded that our greatest strength comes from within. Seneca famously said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." When you cultivate a life that is rich with purpose and passion, independent of external validation, you become a beacon of strength and confidence that others cannot ignore. Picture this. For years, you've been the person who is always there, always making time, always accommodating others. They've grown accustomed to your presence, perhaps even taking it for granted. But then, something changes. You decide that it's time to focus on your own path. Pursue your own dreams. You stop rearranging your life for them and start living for yourself. Suddenly, they notice. It's as if a switch has been flipped, and now they can't help but be drawn to the person you've become. This is the allure of independence. When you stop seeking approval, when you no longer wait for others to validate your worth, you become someone who is not just desirable, but magnetic. Think of it like a fire that burns steadily on its own, warm, bright, and capable of attracting others, not because it needs them, but because they are drawn to its light. So how do you embody this independence? Start by focusing on what truly matters to you. What are the goals that drive you? Passions that ignite your spirit? Dedicate your time and energy to these pursuits. Don't wait for others to join you. Lead the way. As you do, you'll find that those who are meant to be in your life will naturally follow. Not because you need them, but because they are inspired by the person you've become. Independence is not about shutting people out or building walls around your life. It's about creating a life so fulfilling and rich in purpose that others want to be a part of it. When you prioritize your own happiness and growth, you radiate a confidence that is far more compelling than any desperate need for attention. Imagine being at a social gathering. One person is trying hard to impress, constantly seeking approval from others. Another person, however, is simply enjoying the moment, content with who they are, not needing anyone else to validate their experience. Which person do you find more intriguing? The one who is self-assured, who moves through life with ease, is the person who captures your attention. This is the allure of independence in action. But here's the key takeaway. Independence is not just a strategy for attracting others. It's a way of life. It's about realizing that your worth is not tied to anyone else's perception of you. It's about living authentically, pursuing your goals with passion, and finding contentment in who you are without the need for external validation. So what can you do today to cultivate this independence? Start by identifying areas of your life where you've been overly reliant on others for approval or validation. Shift your focus to what you can do to enrich your own life, whether it's through learning a new skill, pursuing a passion project, or simply spending time doing what you love. As you build this independence, you'll notice a profound shift, not only in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. You'll become more confident, more resilient, and more at peace with who you are. And as others begin to recognize the value of your independence, they'll find themselves drawn to you in ways they never expected. Remember, the allure of independence is not just about making others want you. It's about making sure that you want yourself even more. It's about living a life that is full, rich, and deeply satisfying, regardless of who is or isn't by your side. So go out there, embrace your independence, and watch as the world takes notice. Number 4, the rarity effect. The allure of independence naturally leads us to understand the power of scarcity, or what we can call the rarity effect. This principle is crucial in explaining why something or someone becomes infinitely more valuable once it's no longer easily accessible. As the philosopher Aristotle once observed, what is rare is not only precious, but often pursued with greater desire. When you become less available, when you create distance, your value in the eyes of others increases dramatically. Think about it. When you're always there, always answering calls and texts, always ready to drop everything, your presence becomes predictable, even mundane. It's human nature to overlook what is readily available. But when you start to step back to focus on your own life, something remarkable happens. Suddenly, they start to notice the space you've left behind. What was once taken for granted is now seen in a different light. Your absence creates a void, and in that void, they begin to understand what they've lost. Imagine for a moment that you're like a rare book, one that's always been on the shelf, within easy reach. People pass by it, knowing it's there, but never truly appreciating its worth. But one day the book is no longer on the shelf. Gone. And suddenly, everyone who passed by it begins to feel its absence. They realize it wasn't just another book. It was something unique, something valuable. And now they can't stop thinking about it. This is the essence of the rarity effect. When you make yourself less available, you transform from the everyday to the extraordinary in the eyes of those who once took you for granted. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about recognizing your own worth and ensuring that others do too. As Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By wanting less from others, by needing less validation, elevate your own value. So how can you apply this in your own life? Start by valuing your time and attention as the precious resources they are. Don't be so quick to give them away. Reserve your energy for those who truly appreciate it. This doesn't mean becoming distant or aloof. It means being selective, being intentional about where you invest yourself. Consider this. When you stop being the first to reach out, when you stop making yourself constantly available, you give others the opportunity to miss you. This is not about creating false scarcity, but about living your life fully and authentically, so that your presence is felt deeply when it is there and missed keenly when it is not. Let's be clear though, this is not a tactic to manipulate others, but a strategy to ensure that you are valued appropriately. It's about living with the understanding that your presence is a gift, not a given. When you pull back, when you allow yourself to be rare, you give others the chance to reflect on what you truly mean to them. So today, take a moment to assess where you've been too available, too easy to reach. Recognize that sometimes, by stepping back, you're doing more than just creating distance. You're allowing others to come to terms with how much they value you. In that space, in that void, they begin to understand your true worth. The rarity effect isn't just about making others want you. It's about making sure that you want yourself more. It's about living in a way that commands respect, that ensures your presence is a privilege. So embrace the power of becoming rare and watch as others begin to treasure what they once took for granted. Number 5, the contrast of confidence. Confidence is the natural evolution of recognizing your own rarity. When you understand that you are not just an option, but a unique presence in the world, something remarkable happens. You start to carry yourself differently. As the philosopher Nietzsche once said, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. This why, this understanding of your intrinsic value, breeds a confidence that is both undeniable and transformative. In the practice of Stoicism, we are taught that external events do not determine our worth. Rather, it's our interpretation of those events that shapes our reality. When you stop seeking validation from others and start focusing on your own growth, you begin to radiate a self-assuredness that others find irresistible. This shift is not just internal. It's visible in every aspect of your being. Posture, your speech, your decision. Picture this. You were once tethered to someone else's expectations, constantly seeking their approval, adjusting your actions to fit their desires. But then, something shifts. You decide that your happiness and well-being are no longer negotiable. You stop bending, stop compromising your own needs for the sake of someone else's opinion. In that moment, you begin to transform. Imagine walking into a room where you once felt small, where you once hesitated to speak up. Now, you enter with a sense of purpose. Your head is held high, your movements deliberate, your voice steady. The very people who once overlooked you now can't help but take notice. It's as if they're seeing you for the first time, not as the person who was always trying to fit in, but as someone who stands apart. This is the contrast of confidence at work. The gap between who you were and who you've become is striking, and it changes how others perceive you. When you embrace your own worth, you stop needing others to validate you, and that independence is powerful. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your strength lies in your ability to define yourself, rather than letting others define you. But this newfound confidence isn't just about how others see you, it's about how you see yourself. You start to understand that your worth isn't contingent on anyone else's approval. You are valuable because you are alive, because you have dreams, goals, and the courage to pursue them. This realization doesn't just attract others, it empowers you to live life on your own terms. So how do you cultivate this contrast of confidence? Start by setting boundaries. Learn to say no when something doesn't align with your values or goals. Spend time alone, reflecting on your strengths and achievements. When you do engage with others, do so from a place of self-assuredness, not neediness. Let your actions reflect your belief in your own worth. Think of confidence as a lighthouse standing tall on a rocky shore. It doesn't move, doesn't chase after ships, simply shines its light, guiding those who need it, standing firm against the storm. You are that lighthouse. When you stand firm in your confidence, you don't need to chase after anyone's approval. Those who are meant to be in your life will be drawn to your light. In the end, the contrast of confidence isn't just about making others see your value. It's about recognizing it within yourself. It's about living in a way that is true to who you are, without the need for external validation. And when you do, you'll find that the only approval you ever really needed was your own. So stand tall, embrace your worth, and let your confidence be the beacon that guides you through life. Those who once overlooked you will now see you in a new light, not because you've changed for them, but because you've changed for yourself. Number 6. Pain of regret. Regret is the inevitable shadow that follows when we fail to appreciate what we have. As we explored the power of confidence, it's essential to understand that confidence often triggers something unexpected in others. Regret. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Regret, in this sense, becomes a powerful force that drives realization. It often comes too late. Imagine someone holding on to a beautiful, fragile vase, never truly admiring its craftsmanship, believing it will always be there. Then one day, the vase slips from their hands, shattering into pieces. It's only in that moment, as they stare at the shards on the floor, that they realize the true value of what they've lost. This is the essence of regret, a sharp, inescapable pain that comes from knowing you can never have back what you took for granted. In the realm of relationships, this scenario plays out all too often. You've been there, consistently offering support, love, and attention, yet your value wasn't fully recognized. Then you decide to step back, to reclaim your energy and focus on yourself. And that's when the shift happens. The person who once overlooked you begins to feel the absence of your presence, and it hits them hard, like a wave crashing against a rock, relentless and unyielding. Regret has a way of amplifying loss, forces people to confront their mistakes, to relive moments where they failed to appreciate what was in front of them. But here's the reality. Regret is their burden to bear, not yours. When you step back, you're not just creating space, you're allowing them to experience the consequences of their action. And often, it's that very pain of regret that becomes the catalyst for their deepest realizations. So what does this mean for you? It means that sometimes the most powerful action you can take is inaction. By pulling away, by no longer being the person who is always there, you give others the chance to feel your absence deeply. This isn't about punishment, about self-respect. about understanding that your worth isn't tied to how much you give, to how much you are valued. Take this lesson to heart. Pain of regret is a powerful teacher, forces reflection, drives change, but it's not a burden you need to carry. Your job is to continue growing, to continue focusing on your own journey, knowing that those who didn't see your worth will have to come to terms with their own regret. And here's the truth. Regret can spark a new beginning, but it can't erase the past. Those who realize too late may crave a second chance. They also know, deep down, things can never be the same. This realization is what makes regret so painful. It's not just about what was lost, but about what can never be reclaimed. So as you move forward, let go of the need to be appreciated by those who didn't see your worth. Let their regret be a testament to your value, a reminder that you are always more than they recognize. And remember, your focus is not on their pain but on your growth. You are worth more than the regret of others. You are worth the life you're building, one step at a time, away from those who failed to see your brilliance. In the end, regret is a lesson for them, not for you. Your path is forward, and their realization, though painful, is their own to navigate. So keep moving forward with confidence and clarity, knowing that the best thing you can do is to live a life that doesn't dwell on the past, but embraces the future with open arms. Number 7. The mystery of uncertainty. Uncertainty is the invisible thread that ties desire to curiosity. Following the sting of regret, it's often the mystery of not knowing that intensifies longing. As Aristotle once noted, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. In relationships, this realization can drive a powerful shift. When you step back and become less predictable, you introduce an element of uncertainty that is both captivating and maddening. Consider this. You've been present, consistent, and predictable. Always there to answer a call, always the first to reach out. But then you decide to pull back, to focus on your own life, and suddenly everything changes. They start to notice your absence, not just as a void, but as a puzzle. What happened? Why the change? It's in this uncertainty that they begin to rethink, question, and ultimately to desire more of what they no longer have easy access to. Imagine watching a movie where every twist and turn is predictable. How long would you stay engaged? Now imagine a story full of unexpected developments, where the next move is never certain. That's the effect your absence creates. Plot twist in their life, one they didn't see coming, and it leaves them craving the next chapter, eager to understand what comes next. In Stoicism, there's a focus on the importance of embracing the unknown. Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you introduce uncertainty by no longer being readily available, you compel them to react, to reevaluate, and in many cases to re-engage with a renewed sense of curiosity and interest. So how do you harness this mystery of uncertainty? First, allow yourself to be less accessible. Don't feel compelled to explain every action or decision. Let there be gaps in communication, spaces where they have to wonder, think, to imagine. This isn't about playing games. It's about living authentically and giving yourself the freedom to grow without constantly being tethered to someone else's expectations. The practical side of this is simple. Focus on your own journey. Cultivate your interests, pursue your passions, and live your life fully. The less predictable you are, the more magnetic you become. It's like a book with chapters that end on a cliffhanger. They're left wanting more, eager to turn the page, but unsure of what's coming next. As they sit with their thoughts, replaying conversations, wondering what you're up to, they begin to realize that the connection they once took for granted is slipping out of their control. And it's this very loss of control, this uncertainty, that makes them want you even more. Let's take this one step further. When you embody this sense of mystery, you shift the dynamic. You're no longer the one chasing, you're the one being chased. And in that shift, you reclaim your power. They're drawn to you not because you're trying to be mysterious, but because you've become someone worth wondering about, someone whose life is full and intriguing. So as you move forward, embrace the mystery of uncertainty. Let it be a tool, not just to keep them guessing, but to keep you focused on what truly matters, your growth, your happiness, your journey. In doing so, you'll find that the right people will be naturally drawn to you. eager to understand the depth of who you are, and those who can't handle the mystery, they were never meant to stay. Remember, your worth isn't diminished by someone's inability to see it. It's in the spaces of uncertainty that true value is often recognized. Keep living, keep shining, and let them figure out what they've been missing. After all, it's not about making them want you. It's about living in a way that makes you want yourself even more. Number 8. The reversal of roles. The reversal of roles is one of life's most unexpected gifts, emerging naturally when uncertainty takes hold. After you've embraced the mystery, it's only a matter of time before the balance of power shifts in your favor. As Lao Tzu once said, "He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough." When you recognize that you are enough on your own, without needing validation from others, you set the stage for a profound transformation in your relationships. Imagine this. You've spent months, maybe even years, being the one who reaches out first, the one who ensures the connection stays alive. You've been available, consistent, perhaps even predictable. But then something within you changes. You decide to stop chasing, to stop seeking approval, to focus on yourself. And just like that, the dynamics shift. Suddenly, they're the ones who start to worry, the ones who begin to question what went wrong. They feel the absence of your attention like a void they can't quite fill. Think of it like the seasons changing. You were once the warm summer day, always present, always reliable. But now you've become the crisp, elusive breeze of autumn, unexpected and compelling. They didn't realize how much they depended on your warmth until it was gone. Now they're left trying to grasp at what they once took for granted. Trying to win back the connection they let slip away. In Stoicism, there is a principle of focusing on what we can control and letting go of the rest. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." When you stop trying to control how others see you, when you stop needing their validation, you find freedom. And with that freedom comes a powerful shift. They start to see you differently, not because you've changed for them, but because you've changed for yourself. This reversal isn't about manipulation, it's about self-respect. By stepping back, you allow others to recognize what they've lost. They start reaching out, trying to reestablish the connection, trying to regain the ground they didn't appreciate before. It's almost poetic, the way the tables turn, the way the hunter becomes the hunted. They once held the power, but now, as you stand firm in your independence, they are the ones feeling vulnerable, unsure, and eager to regain your favor. So how can you harness this reversal of roles in your life? Begin by stepping back. Stop making the first move. Allow yourself to be less available. Focus on your personal growth, passions, and your happiness. In doing so, you shift the dynamics effortlessly. Those who truly value you will step up. Those who don't were never worth your time to begin with. Imagine you're playing a game of chess. You've been making all the moves, driving the game forward. But then you stop. You let them make the next move. Suddenly, they're forced to strategize, to think carefully about what they're doing because the outcome is no longer in their control. This is what happens when you allow the roles to reverse. They must now earn what they once took for granted. And here's the key takeaway. This reversal of roles isn't just about relationships, it's a reflection of your own growth. When you stop seeking approval, when you stop chasing, you elevate yourself. You become the prize, not because you've changed for someone else, but because you've recognized your own worth. And that is the ultimate victory. So keep focusing on your journey, keep building your strength and resilience. The right people will recognize your value and will work to be a part of your life. Those who don't, they'll be left wondering what they lost when the roles reversed. In the end, the power lies with you. And when you embrace it, you don't just change the game, you redefine it entirely. Number 9. The fear of finality. The fear of finality is the ultimate catalyst in any relationship dynamic. After the roles have reversed and they're the ones doing the chasing, nothing strikes harder than the realization that this could truly be the end. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When faced with the possibility of permanent loss, their reaction can be one of sheer panic. Imagine you've stopped investing in the relationship. You've chosen yourself, embraced your independence, and begun thriving in your own life. Suddenly, they're confronted with the stark possibility that you might be gone forever. It's like watching a sunset and realizing that once the sun dips below the horizon, there's no bringing it back until the next day. Except in relationships, there's no guarantee of another sunrise. The permanence of that moment can be overwhelming, and it's in this realization that the fear of finality takes root. This fear is profound because it's not just about missing you. It's about coming to terms with the fact that they might never have you back. It's the difference between a temporary absence and an irrevocable loss. When they see you moving forward, living fully without them, the gravity of what they've let slip away starts to sink in. The idea that they might have lost something irreplaceable, someone irreplaceable, becomes all too real. But how do you leverage this understanding? It's simple. Stand firm in your decisions. When you decide to move on, do so with confidence. Let your actions communicate that you are no longer available to be taken for granted. This isn't about holding power over someone. It's about honoring your own worth. By choosing yourself, you're not only protecting your own well-being, but also reinforcing the message that you're not someone who will wait around indefinitely. Think of it like a door closing. Once it shuts, the sound echoes, reminding everyone in the room that something has changed. They might rush to reopen it, but sometimes the door is locked, and they're left standing outside, realizing too late they've been shut out. This metaphor captures the essence of finality, the recognition that once something is lost, it might never be regained. In practical terms, this means continuing to focus on your growth. Don't look back. Don't second-guess your decision to move on. If they truly value you, they'll feel that fear of finality and it will compel them to take action. But if not, you've made the right choice by choosing yourself, and you'll continue to thrive without them. As you navigate through this phase, remember that the fear of finality is a powerful force, but it's one that works in your favor when you stay true to your path. They might scramble to win you back. That's not your concern. Your focus should remain on your own journey, knowing that you've done what's best for you. In the end, finality is a reminder of life's impermanence, a theme that Stoicism teaches us to embrace. By understanding and accepting that not everything lasts forever, you empower yourself to make decisions that reflect your true value. So keep moving forward. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Know that in choosing yourself, you've chosen the path of strength and self-respect. And there you have it, 9 powerful proofs. They only want you when you no longer want them. Remember, by valuing yourself and reclaiming your power, you create a magnetic allure that can't be ignored. If you found value in this insight, drop a comment saying, "Value myself, they'll follow," to show you embrace the strength in stepping back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content like this, and share your thoughts below. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you valuable perspective. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.